The name Jude Hall should be included in history books. This man, nicknamed the Rock, fought at the battles of Bunker Hill, Trenton, Saratoga, Ticonderoga, Hubbardton, and Monmouth. He earned his freedom while fighting for America's freedom, only to suffer the loss of his sons, who were kidnapped and sold south as slaves. America owes a debt of gratitude to Jude Hall, New Hampshire's most famous African-American patriot. Today, February 13, 2023, Lyle Station Historic Schoolhouse and Museum honors and salutes the memory of Jude Hall. Hall was born into slavery in Kensington, New Hampshire in 1747, belonging to Captain Philemon Blake, who sold him to Nathaniel Healy before the Revolutionary War started. He is said to have run away from Healy, but we do know that he enlisted and fought for the Colonials without Healy's permission. Both the Blake and Healy families supported the Colonial side in the war and could have seen allowing Hall to enlist as part of their patriotic duty, with him receiving his own freedom for his service. His signature on his enlistment papers indicates that he was able to read and write. Hall officially enlisted in May 1775 in the 3rd New Hampshire Regiment. The colonial leaders probably welcomed Hall's enlistment, for he was a large, strong man who was said to be able to lift a barrel of cider and drink from the bunghole. In the midst of the Battle of Bunker Hill, he was thrown headlong by a cannonball striking him. Nevertheless, he enlisted in the new Continental Army in December of the same year, re-enlisting twice more through the duration of the war, serving 8 years. Hall secured safety behind a tree during one battle and managed to avoid being shot. He returned to the battlefield the next day and cut the tree down, harvesting a basin full of bullets. Following the war, Jude Hall returned to Exeter, New Hampshire in 1783, receiving his freedom in some land, an area still known as Jude's Pond. He married Rhoda Paul, a young woman from one of the leading African-American families in New Hampshire, and they raised a large family in a 2-room home. Legally, he was considered a yeoman or land-owning farmer and was respected in the community, serving as a witness in a local murder trial. Hall applied for a pension in 1818, stating he was a laborer but no longer able to work. At that time, he and his wife were living with 7 of their children, with only a few possessions. 3 of Hall's children, although born as freemen, were kidnapped and sold as slaves in the West Indies and in Louisiana. Jude and Rhoda Paul never saw their 3 sons again. Jude Hall died in 1827. His actual gravesite is unknown, but in 2000, a descendant of one of Hall's former masters erected a monument in his honor. Hall's grandsons continued to fight for their country and against slavery, serving in the Civil War. William C. Nell related Hall's life story in Colored Patriots of New Hampshire, with sketches of several distinguished colored persons in 1855, stating, "He was a great soldier and was known in New Hampshire to the day of his death by the name Old Rock."